In 1953, Porsche showed up to Le Mans with 110 horsepower. Ferrari had 3 times that. Porsche won anyway. That result is not a historical footnote. It is a thesis, and this entire list is the evidence. 7 Porsches. 7 moments where Stuttgart showed up with something that had no right to beat what it was facing, and rewrote expectations anyway. From a 540-kilogram race car to an 887-horsepower hybrid that made Ferrari and McLaren look like they'd been solving the wrong problem. Here's all 7. Level 1. Little Bastard. Porsche 550 Spider, 1953 to 1956. The 550 Spider is the car that proved the thesis: a single concert grand piano's worth of vehicle, 1.5-liter flat 4, 110 horsepower. Ferrari arrived with more than twice the power. The 550 won its class anyway, and in doing so, established the principle every other car on this list inherited. Mid-engine layout in the early 1950s, before it was the conventional approach. Porsche understood weight distribution before it became the wisdom. James Dean called his 550 Little Bastard, had it painted on the rear panel. He was 24, one of the most famous actors in America, and his relationship to the car was the one every serious Porsche driver recognizes. Personal, specific, not entirely rational. He died in it on a California highway on his way to a race. He'd owned it for 9 days. No buy advisory exists. Documented 550s trade above $4 million. The 718 Cayman GT4 RS carries the philosophy: mid-engine, naturally aspirated, lightweight. The price didn't survive. The principle did. The 550 is where Porsche speed started. Everything else is continuation. Level 2, the blueprint. Porsche 911 Carrera RS 2.7, 1972 to 1973. Porsche needed 500 cars for Group 4 homologation. Built 500. Then 1,080 more because the market didn't stop asking. The greatest homologation special in Porsche history happened because Porsche forgot to stop making 210 horsepower, 960 kilograms, naturally aspirated 2.7-liter flat 6. The ducktail rear spoiler was the first aerodynamic device Porsche put on a road car, not as styling as function. An engineering solution first and a design icon second, in that order. By necessity. The person who truly understands what the RS 2.7 is today is 55 years old, has owned Porsches for 3 decades, and is not selling. Has been offered significant money, more than once. Has a number they say is the threshold. The number keeps moving. They are not wrong on any count. Clean examples trade $800,000 to $1.5 million. The 992 GT3 RS carries the RS 2.7's direct lineage. Naturally aspirated, lightweight, homologation influenced, at a price that is merely very expensive rather than museum tier. That's as close as you're getting. Level 3, the warning shot. Porsche 930 Turbo, 1975 to 1977. In 1975, Porsche turbocharged a 911, put it in a road car, and sold it. 260 horsepower in Europe. Real world 0 to 60 as low as 4.9 seconds. Ferrari's Berlinetta Boxer, significantly more displacement, was running comparable numbers with far more cubic inches. The 930's turbocharger built boost in a surge. Low RPM, nothing. Then a wall of power arriving all at once. Mid-corner, trailing throttle, that boost arrives. The rear moves with more enthusiasm than most drivers were prepared for. The name Widowmaker came from documented outcomes, not marketing. Porsche's own owner documentation advised against lifting off mid-corner, a printed instruction to not do the thing cars are supposed to freely permit. That instruction was entirely sincere. 930 Turbo owner today will not let anyone else drive it. Not possessiveness, genuine concern for what might happen. Correct policy. Used play. 1976 to 1977 examples run $150,000 to $350,000. Appreciating. A numbers matching 930 at $200,000 is the most accessible piece of real Porsche history currently available at scale. Full service documentation or don't buy. Level 4, the banned one. Porsche 959, 1986 to 1988. Sequential twin turbos, computer-controlled AWD distributing torque in real time. 444 horsepower, 197 miles per hour top speed, 3.6 seconds to 60 in 1986. Ferrari's F40 arrived the following year faster in a straight line and more theatrical. The 959 was smarter and more stable. Different problems. Both correct. The U.S. government banned it from American roads. Porsche declined to crash test a production run of 337 cars for NHTSA compliance. Bill Gates bought one anyway, imported it, and watched U.S. Customs confiscate it at the port of entry. It sat in a Seattle warehouse for 13 years, bro. The richest man in the world waited over a decade for a legislative fix. He was correct to wait. The show or display law passed in 1999. Market values for clean, documented examples run $1.5 to $2 million. 959 buyer today is an engineer or technology executive who considers that price a reasonable acknowledgement of what 1986 actually accomplished. They are not wrong. The 959's AWD system and sequential boost management live in every modern Porsche turbo. Same bones, 38 years of refinement between them. Level 5, the road legal lie. Porsche 911 GT1. Strassen version, 1997 to 1998. Porsche needed one road legal GT1 for Le Mans homologation. The minimum was one. They built 25. Bruh. 536 horsepower, 3.2-liter twin-turbo flat six, mounted in the middle, not the rear. The GT1 is a mid-engine 911, built by engineers who put the engine where physics demanded rather than where tradition expected. The road car reached 191 miles per hour. The race version won Le Mans outright in 1998. The badge says 911 on both of them. GT1 Strassen version owner is not primarily a driver. They are a custodian, someone who understands that 25 examples exist and that each documentation trail is part of the historical record of what Porsche accomplished in 1997 and 1998. Has the full GT1 race program history documented alongside the road car's own service records. Considers this an obligation that came with the title. They are correct. The last documented public auction results place these in the range of $10 to $15 million, depending on provenance. If one surfaces for sale, the question is not whether to buy it, but whether your provenance documentation is complete enough to justify the transaction. Level 6, the last confession. Porsche Carrera GT 2004 to 2006. Porsche canceled a Le Mans program, found a finished V10 with nowhere to go, and built a road car around it. 605 naturally aspirated horsepower. No conventional stability control, no launch control. A ceramic clutch with an engagement window so precise that Walter Röhrl, Porsche's chief development driver, two-time World Rally champion, needed weeks to fully master it. He said this publicly. That is the most honest product disclosure in automotive history. In November 2013, Paul Walker, actor, genuine car enthusiast, died in a Carrera GT crash in California. The car's demand for undivided driver attention is not mythology. It carries real consequences. This level is not treated lightly. Carrera GT buyer today has tracked multiple cars, completed driving programs specifically for this one, and treats ownership as an ongoing commitment. This is the only correct approach. Used play, documented examples with full Porsche specialist service history and under 8,000 miles run $700,000 to $1.2 million. Provenance is not a preference. It is the entire transaction. The Carrera GT is the last Porsche that considered the driver the primary safety system. Every fast Porsche since has softened that assumption. This one never did. Level 7. The answer. Porsche 918. Spider 2013. Porsche, Ferrari, and McLaren each released a hybrid hypercar in 2013. The press called it the Holy Trinity. The name stuck because the moment deserved one. 887 combined horsepower, 2.5 seconds to 60. 657 at the Nürburgring with the Weissach package, one of the fastest production car lap times recorded at that point. The hybrid system was not the compromise. It was the advantage. Electric motors delivered instant torque at low speeds and recovered energy under braking. Porsche brought a hybrid to a hypercar fight and won on lap times. The LaFerrari is more emotional. The P1 is more focused. The 918 is the most complete. Ran on electric in city traffic, switched to full attack on circuit, drove home afterward. The most technologically complex is also the most livable. That shouldn't be possible. The 918 didn't ask permission. 918 units built, named to match, either the most considered production decision in automotive history or the most expensive wordplay ever committed to a build number. Porsche has never clarified which was intentional. 918 buyer got on the allocation list before the announcement finished, has lapped it at the Nürburgring, considers this the most significant vehicle transaction of their life. They are correct. Current market, $1.5 to $2.2 million. Not depreciating. If an example surfaces significantly below market, read the documentation 3 times before anything else happens. Here's where this lands. The trap is thinking Porsche speed started with the modern GT3 RS, or Turbo S. It started with 110 horsepower and a Le Mans class result Ferrari didn't see coming. Skip the beginning and you don't understand what you're buying at the end. The cheat code is a documented 930 Turbo, $150,000 to $350,000. The car that introduced forced induction to the road car world appreciating. The most accessible entry into this story at scale. The lineage runs one direction, 550 to RS, 2.7 to 930 to 959 to GT, 1 to Carrera GT to 918. Each car a response to the one before it. A single continuous argument across 70 years. The 919 Hybrid Evo ran the Nürburgring in 5 minutes 19 seconds. Not street legal, not for sale. Stuttgart opened that conversation in 1953 and closed it in 2018. Nobody else was invited. No dealership talk, no cap. Hit subscribe. We do this for every brand. See you in the next one.